from Bill Ricky from the east coast of Canada, and I'm so excited to go across the pond and play Loud Women shows in Dublin, London, and Canterbury this August and September.
I really love your name. Or like, what made you choose that name?
It started off with a couple different things. Originally, when I was just kind of getting into playing music in front of other people, I was doing it with a friend of mine, and we would joke that she would be Bill and I would be Ricky. Because it's just like, it's two girls. It's kind of funny to just be like, oh, these are our like alter egos that play country music. It's hilarious. I also have an uncle named Ricky, who's kind of like a long lost uncle that came back from, I would say, the dead almost a couple of years ago. He was like missing for a number of years, and everybody just assumed he was gone forever. And then he came back, and he's like a part of our lives again, which was really nice and pretty crazy. So, yeah, just like a first name, last name kind of Bill Ricky thing. And I also think it's pretty cool to have like I don't know, it's just not what people expect. Like you kind of defy expectations by at the first few of our shows, people thought it was going to be just like a classic guy from out of town, old man with a guitar kind of croaking along. And then it was me and a bunch of people my age and some women playing country music. And it was surprising. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love that. Yeah. Can I ask, how did the band form? There's six members, right?
Yeah, there's six members.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell the story as to
Yeah. So it started off, I was always kind of writing music. I started playing guitar in, I would say, 2021. And then I was writing a lot of songs, and I was surrounded by a lot of people who played music and were already in like established bands. So during the end of COVID, we were allowed to have these like, I think it was exactly like 40-person gatherings. And we would have these, we call them open mic house shows where I would just invite, maybe two bands that I knew, and we would all play music, and none of us were very good at our instruments, and it was just a riot because there was nothing else going on at the time. So I had a lot of friends who played music. So when I was starting to write my own songs, I really wanted to do like an EP of my own and just sort of see what was going on, like if I could even play in front of other people. And very quickly, like friends just kind of joined on, and everybody was like, well, well, now we have you and a bass player and a guitar player and a fiddle player. Like we need a drummer. So then it just ended up being six people. Sometimes seven will play a show, and I don't think we can handle any more.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to some of the songs from you guys earlier, and I'm really curious about Born Again Jesus. Can you tell me like the story behind it, and is it something that's like quite personal to yourself and your own beliefs?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's less rooted in religion than I feel like people would think. Um, that is one of the only songs that I didn't write any of the like chords, anything for. I just did the lyrics for it. Um, but when I wrote that, like the lyrics for that one, I was, coming out of a pretty brutal relationship, and it's sort of just about like pivoting, like in the direction that you think your life is going. It's all set out in front of you, and then you're just like, absolutely not. I'm going to completely flip. I'm going to move. I'm going to start a band. I'm just change everything completely 180. So, yeah, it's just kind of about like pivoting everything and leaving a lot of stuff behind. And yeah.
That's really nice to hear.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so what about like songwriting then? Because you said you wrote it yourself. Like, what kind of like, how do you like, is it like a motivation or is it like a random thought? Do you have to go through something and then you think, oh, let me write about it? Or like, what is it?
Yeah, I find the best songs kind of happen all at once. So it'll just be maybe I'm like on a long drive and I like get a line stuck in my head and I'm like, this has to become something. Um, it's usually not like guitar parts first. It's just sort of me coming up with something that I get sort of stuck on and then quickly getting home or like getting my notes app out and being like blah 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 blah, blah. And if it happens all at once, great. Those are my favorite ones. Other times it's like a journal entry that I'm like, oh, I would love to turn this into something sort of more tangible. But then occasionally maybe our more like rock songs start from a bandmate having like a guitar part or something that they're really interested in, and then we go from there and we sort of play off of that energy.
Hey, that's really cool.
Mm.
Um, can I ask which one of your songs is your favorite, like the songs that you have, and tell me why it's your favorite?
Yeah, I think it definitely changes based on just sort of what we're playing and how I'm feeling. I really love Moon Song. That's off of our newer EP. It's one of those songs that if I am playing it and I feel really connected to it, I could like burst into tears. Um, and that one's definitely my favorite. I wrote it just sort of like sitting in my living room with a guitar. I think I was trying to learn a Beatles song and I wasn't doing it well. And so I was just like, oh, I can do this chord progression instead. Um, and yeah, it's just about like missing a lot of people and missing your friends and living far away from people that mean a lot to you and finding ways to stay connected to them. Yeah. But that's probably my favorite. But I'm also just like a sad girl, so any of the sad ones, I'm like, oh, that's the one.
Um, about new stuff, have you like thought of releasing new stuff and what kind of stuff will that be?
Yeah, we definitely have a ton of songs that we could record and release. Right now we are really like focusing on touring and playing a lot of live shows, which leaves a lot less time for recording. But I think that another EP is definitely in the books for us. Yeah, we've got tons of songs and we are actually still writing more. I think it's really fun to just see how our like sound changes as we progress and change and get older and learn different recording styles. So we'll definitely record again, but probably not in the next 6 months.
Okay, that's very cool. Um, can I ask, like, is there anything that you found like different when you were like going to different countries to like tour like gigs and stuff? Like, do you find anything different about maybe like where you began and other places you've been to?
Yeah, so we actually this will be our first like international
Oh, okay.
tour. We've played a lot around different provinces in Canada. Um I definitely find that the smaller the town, sometimes like the bigger the energy because we have a lot of like rural communities in Canada that are just so excited to have a random band come through town and play the Legion or play like the community hall or whatever we're playing, the one bar. Um, so I have a definitely a soft spot in my heart for the like out of town kind of smaller shows. That being said, there aren't a ton of huge cities on the East Coast anyways, so not much to like gauge that too, but I'm definitely excited to go to the UK and Ireland and play there and just like it's going to be a whole different ball game. So I'm stoked.
About your fan base, what did you like? Is it different to what you expected, like the people that listen to your music, or is it just what you expected?
I think when I was getting into playing more country-ish music, I thought it was going to be more, and especially because like I don't know, and this I like definitely am kind of like provocative on stage sometimes, and I wear like little costumes and I was a little bit worried that it was going to be like a dude show and it was going to be kind of male gaze adjacent. And then I've been completely pleasantly surprised by the opposite. As soon as we like released music and have been playing more shows, the front row, like front two rows, is like always young women like around my age and they learn all the words and they love it and like sometimes they're like I'm gonna bring my boyfriend and like it's definitely more femme than I was expecting, which I'm really excited about because, yeah, I'm a girl that likes to sing along to my favorite songs, and I love when people come to the show and do that too. So, yeah.
Um, what kind of like musical influences do you have that helped you create your music? Like any maybe like artists or different genres that like inspired you?
Yeah, I being into country or like old country music is definitely something I've only sort of come into in the last like maybe 4 or 5 years. Those influences for me are like Patsy Cline, John Prine, Jim Croce. Even though our music doesn't sound a lot like theirs. And then the newer influences would be like Nico Case. Really love her. Um, and like some other like Canadian artists like Daniel Varmano, really good folks to check out. But I definitely before that was into more of just like rock. I like my first band, I guess, was like kind of punk adjacent. So I have some roots there. And then I just fell in love with like country music. So yeah, a little bit of everything.
So do you think that in the future you're gonna maybe steer away from that? You're gonna keep that in like for future music?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I um oh, I'm a big fan of just sort of like letting it guide me. So if we're in like a band practice and we're writing a song that's more like rock, sometimes one of our bandmates will be like, "Oh, this doesn't like this is so different than like the country stuff that we play sometimes." But if we're writing it, then it's our music. Might as well play it, you know? So I just yeah, kind of gonna see where it takes us and might just be a little bit all over the map.
Is there anything on like the bucket list like you guys want to do like goals or like dreams? Maybe like you want to perform at a certain like venue, place, or like, anything like that?
Yeah, I this is kind of a live thought, but I would love to play at a rodeo. Love to be like a rodeo band. I don't know if you guys have similar stuff to that in the UK, but yeah, just we have a ton of like rodeos in Canada and we've never gotten to play one. So like bull riding, like races, clowns, that sort of thing, I think would be awesome. So if any rodeo peeps are listening to this, hit my line.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for answering my questions today. It was so nice to get to know you and your band. Yeah, it was great speaking to you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much.